We good to go?
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much today to Gemma Cook, who is joining us from Kent Police, who's going to share some information about careers working for Kent Police, a little bit about inclusivity within the police, and then possibly a little bit about her own career path within the police as well. So thank you ever so much for joining us today. Ellen and I might have a few questions as you go along, but otherwise over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so hello, good afternoon everybody. So yeah, I'm Gemma Cook and I am a sergeant for Kent Police. I currently work in the HR innovation team, which goes alongside recruitment, and I've been going to schools and doing talks like this to try and get people interested in a career in the police. And basically I'm going to go through a little presentation with you today and tell you what we have to offer, what career opportunities we have, and answer any questions you may have. It's not long. I'm not going to sort of do death by PowerPoint. I'm just going to go through the main bits to give you a bit of an overview, and then obviously there are a Q&A session at the end. So we'll get cracking. Okay, so just so you get a bit of an overview. So to be able to apply for the police, there are some eligibility conditions that all applicants need to meet. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'll cover the basic ones. So firstly, you need to be 17 years old to apply, but you won't be offered a position until you reach the age of 18. It does take some time to get through our application process, which I think is why you can apply at 17. You need your GCSE in Maths and English at a grade C or above. And then you also need 2 A-levels or equivalent at a pass rate. You also need to have a driver licence. You don't need to have it when you apply, but by the time you get offered a position, you need to have passed your driving test. Okay. If you don't, for some reason, have the exact grades that you wanted to meet our eligibility, it's not a complete no that you can't join. There may just be some extra tests that you need to go through. But if you've got any questions or queries or worries about that, then contact us anyway, and we'll take you through the process. Okay. Most people want to know about the pay, which is most important to people. So the pay starts off between £23,000 to £24,000, and you also get an extra £2,500 yearly payment for a South Eastern allowance. And if you work shift work, so between the hours of 8 at night and 7 in the morning, you also get an extra 10% pay for doing unsociable hours. And after 7 years, your pay goes up to just under £44,000, and that's at the basic level of police constable. If you then start to get promoted, you then get obviously more pay, and it goes up and up and up as you progress through the ranks. You'll get to start off with 22 days annual leave a year, and that goes up again depending on your length of service, and you get an average of 2 to 3 days off a week. All right. Okay. So what are the entry routes? It all changed this year. So there's 2 main entry routes: police to constable degree apprenticeship, and that is the route in if you don't have a degree, which are probably be applicable to most of you guys. So that is a 3-year probation with local policing and crime investigation elements, and you get a degree alongside that. But I'll go through that on the next slide. The other entry is if you do have a degree. That's called the DHEP. It's a degree holder entry program. That is only a 2-year probation with local policing, and you get a diploma, paid for diploma on top of your degree. For those that don't fit the eligibility or don't want to be a police officer, there are lots and lots of other jobs within the police force. It's not all about uniform police officers, what you see on TV. We have civilian staff roles, and they are working in the force control room, so the call handlers that take the 999 calls. You have designated detention officers. Those are the staff that work in the cells and look after the people that have been arrested. There's also police community support officers, investigation management unit, that's like armchair detectives, and special constables, and many, many more. All of the other staff roles can be found on the website, but it's not, you don't have to just be a police officer in uniform. There's so many different roles you can do. I'll go through the police constable degree apprenticeship programme. So it is all about on-the-job training, but you get the added benefit of getting a BSc Honours in Professional Policing. It's a work-based degree that you complete whilst working for Kent Police, and you will be a student officer. But the benefit is we cover all the qualification fees. There's absolutely no cost to you, even if you used to leave after 3 years with the degree. There is no cost. Okay, so as I mentioned before, you do get a competitive salary, and there's an excellent range of employee benefits. And most importantly, you'll be the person that's making a difference to your community, and you'll be helping people. So from day one, you will be a police officer. You will get your police badge, and you will embark on your career. And believe me, no 2 days are the same. You will be dealing with every community, all walks of life, and you'll be going from incident to incident, and you will get so much life experience that many of your friends wouldn't even dream of. I've been working for Kent Police for 20 years now, and there's probably absolutely nothing now that would shock me. I've seen it all. So if you want an interesting and really varied, challenging career, this is probably the one for you. Okay, so to join this route, as mentioned before, you do need the eligibility. So that's the Maths and English GCSE and the A levels. If you don't have them and you don't want to do the extra tests, there is another route. You can join as a staff member, so like the control room or the designated detention officers. Once you've done 2 years in that role, you are then eligible to apply whether you've got your exams or not. So there is another route in if you didn't quite reach your grades. Okay, so at the end of the 3 years, you would then get the degree. You will be a fully qualified police officer, and the world is your oyster. You can then specialise after the 3 years. You could, if you wanted to be a detective, you could go into a detective route. You could go to be a dog handler, a firearms officer, a teacher, a driving instructor, officer safety instructor. You could work in the child protection unit, rape unit, serious crime. There's so many to mention. I couldn't even go through the whole list. There are over 99 different jobs you could do as a police officer. It's not all frontline, it's not all uniform. We do have a lot of plainclothes roles, a lot of office jobs, and there's also a lot of out on the street jobs. So it's really up to you once you get past your 3 years, what you want to specialise in and what you want to do. Okay, so what will happen on the training programme once you get past your recruitment stage? You will go to Maidstone, which is where our Kent Police College is. You will have a lot of classroom-based learning at first to learn the basics, and then you'll join an operational policing team and be given a tutor who you'll work alongside to put what you've learned in the classroom into action. Okay, and you'll go back and forth from the classroom out onto the streets. You will be taking operational and academic written exams and assessments and presentations throughout your programme, and this is to get your full degree. You have to complete an operational competence portfolio to evidence your achievements and evidence your skills that you've gained. And at the end of the degree, you will be required to do a 10,000 word dissertation, and that's based on the professional policing topic. It all sounds a bit scary, but you will be fully supported. You get so much training to up your confidence and to up your skills, and you will have dedicated study days. So it's not like you've got to do this on top of a full-time job, whereas I might do 4 days in a row at work, you might only do 3, and then you'd have a dedicated study day. So the help is there. We want you to pass it. We don't want, obviously we're paying for it, we don't want to pay for people to fail. So all the support you need will definitely be there. If you decided you want to go off to university first, then you would do the degree holders entry programme. So if you went off to university and got a degree in anything, as long as it's an honours degree, you would do this route. It's exactly the same. However, it's only a 2-year training rather than 3-year. So your training would be the same. You'd still do your same classroom-based bits and out on the street, but because you haven't got to do your full degree, you'd only be doing 2 years, but it's basically the same route. Okay. Training. So as I said, you will cover all the law. Oh, sorry, my screen's gone. Bear with me. You will cover all the law. First 23 weeks is at Kent Police College. As I said, that is predominantly an 8 till 6 Monday to Friday start because it's classroom based. When you start to go out on the streets, it will then be shift work. So our shift work is early, late nights. You might be doing a 7 till 3 day shift. You could be doing a 9 till 7 night shift. Until you get past your probation and training, you do have to do that shift work. Once you've passed that, if you went into another role that isn't frontline, like myself at the moment, I do Monday to Friday 8 to 4, so it can be very flexible once you pass your initial training. Just a note though, on your original training, your annual leave will be heavily mandated. That is because obviously we can't have people taking lots of leave through the training, because you'll need to progress at the same rate. You need to learn at particular times throughout the year. Okay, so I'm just going to touch a bit on this. So we have a positive action team. And for Kent, all it is a team of 3 officers at the force headquarters. Some of you may have heard of positive action, some of you may not, but I'll explain what it is. Positive action is basically the name that was given to measures under the Equality Act in 2010. This is because structures in the society mean that not everybody starts from the same position, and there may be barriers which prevent some people from reaching their potential. And the Equality Act empowers Kent Police and other industries to remove the barriers when they are in connection to a protected characteristic. What I mean by a protected characteristic is it could be to do with gender, race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, anything that you think might provide you a barrier to having the same experience as someone else. This is where this act comes in. So positive action is about levelling the playing field, basically, to make sure we all start from the same position, and it's about equal opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong, positive action team will help any candidate, but this is particularly when there is a result of a protected characteristic. So for example, if you had dyslexia and you're concerned about the written parts of the assessment process, then we're able to then offer advice around the use of what's called reasonable adjustments. So that might be you would have extra time when you are completing an online exam. When you come to be a police officer, that reasonable adjustment might be because you're not great at writing reports, you'd be given a laptop and a dictaphone to record your work in that way. So there's ways around stuff. Okay, don't be afraid to apply if you think you might struggle with certain elements, because we're here to help you. If you was to get in contact with us, we can help you with confidence workshops, mock interviews, self-help guidance. We can take you to police stations to show you around if you're a bit nervous about that. There's a wealth of different things we can do, and it's in place for your benefit and for us to help you as much as we can to get through the application. As well as that, Kent Police have the first, as no other force, that have a diversity and inclusion academy. So it is what it says. It's all about our diverse workforce and including everybody. So Kent Police are proud to promote a diverse workforce. We are trying to get a very representative workforce. So our recruitment campaign at the moment is for underrepresented groups, and that is mainly for females and ethnic minorities. On the screen there, you will see just a handful of some of the support networks we have. So you've got the Race Equality Network. So they provide guidance, support even, and advice to BAME members of Kent Police, and they advise Kent Police as an organisation on any related matters to do with race. We work with other departments and outside agencies, bodies, to apply Kent Police's local opinion on those matters, and that can be for recruitment and to community challenges. Okay, we have the Kent Police LGBT Plus network. That is a network for all officers, staff and volunteers, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. And they are there to provide a visible and supportive network. We can provide reassurance, guidance, mentoring and advice to both visible and non-visible officers, staff, volunteers and also their family. The Enable, that is for disability and carer support. So they provide support for officers and staff working within Kent Police who have a disability or they have to care for someone with a disability. The Kent Network of Women, also known as the KNOW, that's to do with gender and parental support. So they raise awareness and understanding of issues affecting women within the police and give women a voice, which will be listened to. We also have a Christian Police Association. That is a national voice for Christians in policing to encourage and support Christians in the police service. Then we have the Gypsy, Roma and Traveller Police Association. So that was established in 2014. Obviously, there's quite some negative stereotypes in the past, so we challenge them. And we do have some Gypsy, Roma officers. And it's to support our officers and staff and the community across the Kent Police, not only Kent Police, but against the United Kingdom as well. There's also the men's forum. Men seem to get a bit sort of forgotten, but we do have a men's forum, and again, that is to tackle issues with men's mental health, parenting, all sorts. So as you can see, we are a very, very supportive employer. There is a support network for almost anything you can think of. We are trying to be a very inclusive workforce, and we don't exclude anybody. If you think that anything you may suffer with, any mental health issue, might be a bar to you or anything really, get into contact with us and we will put you in touch with the positive action team and with a buddy to help you through it all. Okay. Next, I'm going to try, if the sound works, I'm going to show you a video. It's just a small snippet of what we do on a daily basis. We get a lot of negative press, not a lot of negative social media, but this is quite a positive video. It's an exciting video. It's one that I love. I've probably almost done everything in this video bar the sort of the marine stuff on the water. Hopefully it works because it's a really good video to showcase just what we do. If the sound's not working, please let me know.
There isn't any sound.
Okay. Let me just stop sharing my screen and I will reshare the sound, hopefully. Technical issues.
Got sound?
Yeah.
Get on the floor! Crash, crash, crash.
Okay. Quite an inspirational video. I say it doesn't highlights a lot of the frontline stuff, but again, behind that, there's all the investigators and detectives and stuff behind the scene that makes all that possible as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm open to any questions. The email on the bottom there is one of the ones you can contact us on. If you, anybody that didn't get a chance to answer a question today, if you have any questions, feel free to please contact us. And I will try my best to answer any questions now.
Lovely, thank you ever so much.
We've got two big ones that did pop up. One of them was, how did you join the police force? Like you personally?
Okay, as I said before, I've been working for Kent Police for 19 years. I left school at 19 with the idea that I was going to go to uni and be a PE teacher. Clearly that never happened. I didn't know what to do really after that, and a friend of mine was a police officer. I didn't think I was ready to be a police officer at 19, so I joined as a police staff member. I was a designated detention officer, so the civilians that work in the cells. And I did that for 4 years, and I wasn't a very confident teenager. I really wasn't confident at all. So that job really helped me to get experience and gain confidence and life skills, because I was then dealing with people that were getting arrested. I had confrontation. I had to learn bits of the law, and it was a fantastic way into the job. And after 4 years, I kind of thought, no, I can do this. So I joined. Back then I didn't have to do a degree. I just had needed my basic exams. Wish I did, because that, the degree, because it's a fantastic opportunity to get a free degree, but unfortunately I didn't offer it back then. So I joined when I was 23, and so that's 16 years ago. I've been a frontline officer for the last 16 years, and I've worked my way up to sergeant. So I got promoted about halfway through my career. I'm now halfway through to my second promotion to an inspector, and quite honestly wouldn't look back. It's the best job I think you could ever do. One of the best jobs. It's exciting. I get to meet lots of people, and as I said before, the experience you gain is just absolutely immense. So yeah, that's kind of my journey into the police.
That's great, thank you.
Okay.
And the second one was, do you deal with any moral dilemmas? And if you do, how do you deal with them?
Moral dilemmas. Well, we deal with dilemmas every single day. I think for me personally, when I very first joined, obviously I was only 19 and I worked in the cells. Not long come out of school, I actually had some of my ex-sixth form colleagues that had been arrested, and when I turned up to work the next morning, there they were sitting in the cell. So that was a bit of a dilemma, because I had to remain professional. I couldn't, go and have a chat with them. So that's probably the main thing, probably throughout your career as well, because people do make mistakes, and you do have possibly friends or family members that do get themselves into trouble, and you have to remain completely professional and deal with it the way you would with any other member of the public. So I think that's probably the biggest moral dilemma. In regards to other stuff, we have to deal with a lot of abuse, a lot of hate. I get called names all the time, and again, you have to remain at professional level. You can't bite back and say probably what you want to say. You have to remain professional. But yeah, moral dilemma, that's probably my biggest one, dealing with people that I know.
That's great then, thank you. Sarah, any questions?
Yes, so there were a couple that were sent through, and one of them was to do with progression to becoming a sergeant and what that kind of looked like, wasn't it? I mentioned that to Jen before we came on, but I think you sort of covered that one, didn't you, really, in there?
Well, I'll just say that, so you can apply for promotion when you've finished either your 2-year or 3-year course, whichever route you come in. Once you've done that and you're out of your probation, you are then eligible for promotion. So the way it works is you have to get signed off by your boss to say, yes, we think you're ready for promotion. You then have to take an exam. The exam is a 3-hour exam. It's multiple choice questions. If you pass that, you then go on to the next stage of promotion, where you have to then start building a portfolio, and you would then go to a senior sort of interview board to give across your evidence as to why you think you're good enough to be at that next rank, whatever rank that may be. So it can be a process of about a year to 2 years to get through it, but it's about working hard. You need to work hard. and you need to be able to prove that you're good in your role to be able to progress to the next level. But it's open to everybody, as long as you are working at the level you are meant to be, and anybody is eligible for promotion.
Great. And the final one, just before we finish up, was about shifts, actually. And you did sort of touch on it, really, about the fact that when you were actually in post after your training, that actually it can be quite a flexible career, really. But yeah, if you're able to say just a couple of things about the shifts and how that works, that'd be great.
Yeah, so yeah, as I sort of mentioned, unfortunately, during your first couple of years of your career, because you are doing the training, you need to get the confrontation and the risk management. You will have to do the weekend work on the nights, and you will have to follow a shift pattern, which will be early, late nights. Once you get through your basic training and you're onto a team, you then can look at moving departments to get to a more sociable working hours. So like I said, like, I've done 16 years of shift work and that was enough for me. So I've just decided to do this kind of role, move to recruitment. So I'm now doing Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. So there are many, many jobs out there that are available that are more sociable. However, if you wanted to stay frontline and do the shift work, there are also other options to do part-time working. They also do flexi shift patterns if you had particular needs like childcare or any other sort of need that you couldn't do. So we have officers that can't work a full night due to some mental health issues, anxiety, sleep issues, stuff like that. So they will only work till 2 o'clock in the morning. So they have a flexible shift pattern. So there's lots of adjustments that can be made, and the support's there. You're not forced to do something that is going to make you ill or uncomfortable. So if you're happy to do the shift work, which many people are and do it for years and years and years, that's fine. But if you'd rather go to a different department where you can work more sociable hours and maybe not evenings if you've got young children, then that is all available. But you do have to do it for a couple of years, unfortunately, to get to the required level.
Yeah.
But once you get through that, then you've got the rest of your career to think about, and you could go anywhere.
Oh, thank you so much for answering those questions. And just to reiterate, if, as you know today, most people will, or everyone that attends the recorded version, that they can contact you on that email address. And yes. Presumably you also have quite a lot on your website as well. Is that Kent Police?
Yeah, go onto the Kent Police website. There is a careers page. If they go on there, there are lots of information about the eligibility for police officer roles and other staff roles. There is lots of extra support on there. So if people do apply and want some guidance throughout, there are virtual workshops every month, and that might be a interview skills workshop. It could be an application guidance workshop. We have online assessments that are part of the process. So there's online assessment workshops, and they're all to help you along. There's also a system called the Buddy system. That is where you can get put in contact with a fully qualified police officer, and they can assist you. If you have any questions about, right, this is on the application form, I'm not quite sure what that means or what I should put, they're there to guide you. They can talk to you over the phone, via email. They can show you around the police station, just get you familiar with stuff. So yeah, it's called the Buddy scheme, and they're there to basically just guide you along your application process to give you that extra help. So there's lots of support out there. It's all on the website.
It does sound like there's a huge amount of support, so that's fantastic to flag that up. Thank you. So I'll hand back to Ellen. So I don't know if there's any other questions. If not, we'll say thank you.
No,
you're very welcome.
Thank you, Gemma. That was excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very
welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you. And now, like I said, we'll share it with our 10 schools, and hopefully you'll have some emails, and we look forward to hopefully having you on again at some point in the, in the future. So thank you.
You are welcome. Thanks very much.
Take care. Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks, Ben, for hosting.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.